everyone, and welcome back to video number 3, layout number 3 of the family series. We'll get right in. This is another set of the papers that I had chosen off of my intro video to be my background pages. And you'll notice that piece on the left had all this pre-embellishing that was already printed on it. Now, I'm not one to go and choose that kind of paper. I typically like to have my own layers and do all the layering myself. However, this was just another sheet in the paper kit, and after I looked at it, I kind of liked it, and I thought, well, I'm going to challenge myself to see what I can do with this. So, I had already chosen to go with the yellow stripe for the second page, simply because it was the boldest piece of paper that was already on that left side piece there. So I wanted to let that be my background piece, but I also knew that I was going to be covering a major piece of it. So anyway, I wasn't too worried about how bold it was going to be in the background, because I was thinking you're not going to see a whole lot of it anyway. So you can see I have cut a big piece of that number paper, and I've also cut a green piece of the green chevron. I have 4 white pieces, or they're more cream pieces of a cardstock, and my idea with that is to go with a sort of a Polaroid look like what they already have over on that left page. And so I'm going into this other sheet of paper that has all these tickets on it, and I thought I wanted to use several of these tickets somehow to tie in both pages together. So, and then I'm looking at using that tag, and I think that black piece ends up being on this page because I wanted to tie some of that black that's already on the left-hand page over onto the right. So now I'm going in here and doing something typical that I do when I get some of these page kits that have all these cards that they're made for, the Project Life scrapbooks, and I'm not a Project Life scrapbooker. I do use some of the pocketed pages sometimes, but just usually an accent to go with like my second page. So I see so much potential in all these little cards and things, and so I wanted to use this tag, and I wanted to use the inside of that tag as a journal spot. So you'll see what comes of that later. And so here I go with this, excuse me, this tag that I have cut out. I wanted the inside of it to be the black to pull over from the left page. So I fussy cut the inside out, and now I'm going to carefully place that black in behind it with some of my trusty Scotch quick dry glue. And so basically I'm just matting it from the back and holding all the little pieces together, that those thin lines that I had cut. So I'm just taking a piece of scrap and wiping away any excess glue that may have leaked out. So I need to get just a little bit on that front flap. And of course all this will be held down once you glue it. Once I glue it completely down to the page, it'll all be fine. So I'm going to punch the center out of this tag, and I'm going to tie some of my red baker's twine through that tag. Of course, you need the ink, and I think I'm using black ink on this page because of all the black pieces on it. So you see me tying the string here for the tag. And sometimes I tie ties, and sometimes I just slip it through. I guess it just depends on what mood I'm in. So I'm looking at this number paper and I'm thinking, the pre-embellished side over on the left showed some of the pieces were torn. So I thought, well, I'm just going to mimic that to kind of tie both sides together. So I took this big piece and I tore the edge of it. So, and then after I inked the side, I wished I hadn't. But it's okay. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting ready to see how all this is going to pull together in my mind. Trying to figure it all out. So I'm inking around all these little Polaroids. And when I do this layout, I plan to cut my pictures smaller so that I will have that wider border at the bottom, just like in a Polaroid. So here's my dry run. I'm just going to see how this pans out. And I think you'll see me fooling with this quite a bit, moving things around and trying to figure out how I want things layered. So I'm looking at pulling in some of that numbered paper because I wanted to add some of the same elements that was over on the left page. And so that number paper, I think I used every single piece of it. That was the only scrap that I had left. And so now I'm just tucking in some of those tickets up in the top right hand corner. And these tickets here had the little cutout pieces, like you see when you get a real ticket. And so I was just doing a little quick fussy cutting and using my pinking shears to cut the edges so it looks like, how a ticket is torn. And I decided to kind of fold them up and keep that strip all together, like when sometimes you get a set of tickets in there together, they kind of bend like that. And my idea was to keep them all together over on the left hand side. So I'm just finding all the little pieces here and going back and giving them a little ink. Since everything else has it, might as well have this too. And I usually only ink out what you see. I don't worry about what I know is going to be tucked under something. So I think I'm almost through with all that inking business, but it has to be done. It makes a difference. And here's part of my title. It's a little infinity symbol that I found up on the internet, and I just thought it was so pretty. It's infinity with love incorporated into it. And so to me, it says, forever love. So, and that's what you want to be with your family. You want to love them forever. And so now I have moved all these tickets around again, and I found this little flourish, and I cut out of the black cardstock as well, and I've moved that. And so, no, I'm going to decide moving that over there, put the tickets back. I think I flipped back and forth several times before I finally come to the permanent landing space of each one of these elements that I've found. And here's part of the title, and I'm just going in and cutting that up a little neater. And so now I'm cutting it into like a banner shape. And I don't think that's where I end up putting that. So this is my this layout is just how I typically work. I had a good idea before I started doing the video, and then once I started cutting the pieces down, sometimes it just takes me a while to flip things around and turn it this way and turn it that way, and sometimes I've noticed that in doing these videos, I'm like, well, I think I liked it better the first way I had it. Why did I change it? But I guess that's always what they say about hindsight. It's 2020. You can see clearly when you're looking back. So I'm still flipping around here. Oh well, I'm putting some foam dots on this title. So I must be committing to this layout right here. So there is my title block up in the top. And I put a few foam dots underneath some of the areas on this ticket. I didn't want them all to be popped up because I wanted it to look like it had a little bit of movement on the page. So some of it I popped up and some of it I just glued straight down to the page. Tuck another one right underneath there. And so I looked at this, how that infinity was there, and I thought it needs something under it. So I pulled out another piece of scrap that I had left over, and it just happened to be some of the numbered paper that was over on the right hand side, which I thought, well, this works out. And so I'm just making a little banner right there to let this infinity have a place to land. So let me get this glued down here. Once again, love my quick dry glue. It has a really good fine tip, and my bottle, honestly, I think I have used that same bottle of glue for almost 2 years. And I use it a lot, but, you know, because I'm doing these classes every month, and of course I do lots of scrapping of my own, but it doesn't take a lot. It's like a little dab will do you. And I went recently and was thinking, well, I had a Michaels coupon. I thought I couldn't find anything that I really wanted nor needed, and I thought, well, I'll just get a new bottle of glue. It's going to run out soon, and so I was very disappointed to find out that they changed the cap on this glue. So anyway, I guess I'll be keeping my bottle because I really like my cap that it keeps the bottle turned up, so whenever you're ready to go, the glue is already down to the end waiting for you. So now I think I took a picture of this layout before I took all the pieces up so that in case I forgot what I was doing, I could remember where everything went. And then usually I'll just delete it off my camera or my phone or whatever I use. So now that I've gotten my layout and I'm happy with it, it doesn't take long to just get everything nailed down. And I just put very small pieces in each corner, whatever I'm doing. It doesn't take a whole lot. You know, especially once you slide it down your page protector, it's really not going anywhere. And if something does happen to come unglued, it's just going to fall down into the bottom of your sheet protector, and the next time you see it, you know, then you can repair it. Here I am looking at what I did. Good thing I took a picture, huh? So I'm laying out my faux Polaroids here. I'm thinking, uh-oh, I didn't allow enough room, so I'll have to move this a little bit. And that's the other good thing about this double-sided tape. It's good and strong, but then yet it's really forgiving as I spend a little bit of time peeling up a piece. But and if you work carefully, you know, you can move it without tearing, which I just did, but it was easily covered up. And so I'm putting all the other elements around the page here for this. Looking at my picture again. And I'm realizing, I think, that I did not have this over on the right far enough because I don't have enough room for my little piece of numbered paper. So here I go, peeling up stuff again. And so now I can stick that in here. One little piece will do for that. And I can put this one under. And so now I decide, hey, I remember I had that piece of border strip that I took off from the other piece, the other layout, see? And I wanted to mimic the border strip, if you'll notice, over on the left-hand side that was already on that pre-made layout. And so it was perfect that I pulled that little bitty piece of border strip up so that way I could carry the same idea over onto the right-hand page, and it really helped it look like it went together. Sometimes you have happy accidents, you know. So, tucking in some more of these tickets. And that's real easy. Looking at saying, okay, I'm happy with where this was. Let me go ahead and commit to this. Now, this right here, I will say, once you glue this down, you better be certain this is what you want, because it's not easily pulled up. So I usually try to let those, whenever I glue something down with that, I want to make sure that it is where I want it to be. So now it looks like I was thinking, okay, it needs a little something. What am I thinking? And so I'll pull out some washi tape, because this layout just looks like it needs some washi tape. And I put a few pieces around the layout. And so I'm still thinking, alright, it needs something somewhere. So I'm looking through my sticker sheets. Let's see if there's anything that really jumps out at me. And so I'm looking at that circle there, like it's real blank and empty. And I at first thought, well, you know, it would be a place to do journaling. But then I saw this sticker on my sticker sheet, and it fit perfectly again with the circle that was on this paper. So I decided not only did I want it to go in that circle, but I also wanted to pop it up. So I just took a piece of scrap cardstock and stuck to the back of it and popped it right up in the middle of that circle. Love it. And so it's another love on this love page. So still looking around to see if I see anything that looks good. But this is about time, girls. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for another one. And come back and see me. Have a blessed day. Thanks.